when I first started playing COD, my main struggle was going against players that had better movement than me. I consistently looked up videos on how I can beat a player who almost was impossible to even land a bullet on, but the only videos I found was how to improve my own movement instead, which is why I'm gonna show you exactly how you can beat a Tryhard with better movement, even if you struggle with certain skills like aiming. A common mistake I see people making is that they do not use the environment, such as cover, to their advantage. The best way to make a Tryhard lose a gunfight is being in a position that leaves them at a disadvantage. As you can see right here, I use these head glitches on the second floor to prevent the enemies from pushing up into the hard point. You see them constantly trying to use their movement to slide forward to get to the hard point, but it's clearly not working because I'm up here on this head glitch, so they can't really push up like they want to. See, they're at a disadvantage because they're in the open while I'm covered. The whole idea I'm getting at is you want to try and hold a position with cover. So in this way, when the enemy tries to push in your direction, you already got the cover held down, so they can't really use movement to their advantage no more. Now pay attention to these next two clips. Notice how in this first one he slid out but failed to eliminate me because I was head glitched by cover while he was in the open, which made him an easier target. In the next one, you can see how I was getting jumped by two players at once, but I used this little jacuzzi right here to cover myself while I focused on one target while the other one could not shoot me. They were so hesitant to push up because I was in the best position here, and doing this resulted in me eliminating this little dude right here in the open by the pool, and the other one just ran away. He ain't want no smoke. Cover can also be used to get you out of situations, like if a player is using his movement to push towards you and you ain't really trying to get into all that. Now if y'all watch right here, I get into a bit of an altercation with two players. I barely came out of my life, but then I noticed they spawned not too far where I just killed them from, so I then proceed to use the house as cover to get away. As players of Call of Duty, we tend to always want action, which means whenever we see someone, we want to immediately challenge them. But I would say that's what causes at least 90% of the deaths in Call of Duty, because in that clip right there, if I would have challenged them, they both would have came out the spawn, I would have got jumped, and I would have not got so lucky like the first time. So you need to learn how to run away when you can. I know it does be very tempting to take that gunfight, but that gunfight is what can make or break your streak. But the thing is, sometimes when you do run away, it will cause the other player to chase you. Now if they chase you, that means you are now in control of whether they're gonna win or lose this fight. You completely determine what happens next. You can either lead them all the way back to your team so they could just smoke them up, or what I like to do is I like to re-challenge. And don't just re-challenge any type of way now. Like in this clip right here, I start shooting, which reveals my location. Then I start getting shot, but I run into their house for cover, hoping that this guy will chase me. And as you can see, I'm planted up just waiting on him to come through. So this is exactly what you want to do if you ever start running away from somebody and you notice that they might be chasing you, because they can come run around that corner with all the aggressive movement in the world. It don't matter because you already planted up ready to smoke some. I use this technique in every game I play, and for me it works every time, and it just frustrates the other player. Now that you know how to use cover to take away an enemy's movement, it's important that you know how to counter the movement they might use to re-challenge you. I'm sure we all done been in that situation where we get an enemy low, so we think it's the best idea in the world to chase them to confirm the kill. But when we run after them, they unexpectedly slide out to re-challenge, resulting in us getting smoked because we got caught in that running animation. This is another mistake that could be easily avoided that causes a lot of players to die. Alright, I'm gonna demonstrate it in here in this private match alone because I have no one to help me with this. Say enemy right here. I'm coming out the spawn, enemy right here. I shoot him, get him low. Now he run around the corner and go back that way. He probably expected me to, oh, I'm gonna chase him. I'm gonna go this way. Now he's planted up. He laying down. He probably on his head glitch right here. He's laying down or doing something crazy. And I done slid into a death trap. I'm just dead. Or when I shoot him and he run that way, that's when I start running up. And the thing is, when you start running, your sprint to fire is longer. It catches you in the weirdest animation. And that's when he slides out and just completely kill you. So what I would do, instead of chase him, I'm gonna slide over here to this cover. See this? Because where else can I really go? Like, there's not a lot of cover here. So I slide over here to this cover. So now when he slide back out, he's dead. Same thing here. Say I'm running after somebody right here. They run that way. I'm gonna slide over here. So when they come back, I can beam them. But this kind of an odd situation, odd position right here, because they might slide behind this little area. Instead of going right there, you can go to the left. So I can just run right here. And I can lay down with it. So I'm mostly covered by this chair. So they slide back out and they dead. But I do know sometimes you might be in a situation where there's not a lot of cover. Like for example, say I'm shooting somebody right here. Let's act like this door doesn't exist for a minute. Shooting somebody right here, they slide this way towards the bunk bed. Now, of course, if I chase them once again, I'm gonna die. They're gonna be posted up or they might slide back out. And I'm kind of in the open, there's not that much cover here. But you still want to reposition. You don't want to just sit there. So before you slide back out, I'm repositioned. You can lay down with it too. You can use your movement to your advantage. You're using movement against movement. So look, what I would do, no cover, I'm gonna slide, lay down, and then he pop back out, and I'm gonna jump up. And this way I'm in an animation where I'm always moving. So the whole objective is to reposition to get the enemy to slip up and take control of the fight. Cause he just expecting to catch you completely off guard, but when he slide back out, he gonna notice that you are head glitched and he in the bad position. So off everything I just told you, we have learned that chasing people is probably the worst thing you could do. Cause when you chase, it puts them in control of the fight. It's easy to counter enemy movements in a fight that you have full control over. But what if you get in a situation that's unexpected or happens by chance? Like if an enemy runs or slides through a door and completely breaks your camera. This is where you can use something called the aim reset. The aim reset is whenever you're aiming in and then you proceed to unaim, so you can place your crosshair on the enemy and then re-aim again. This ensures that you don't just waste endless bullets shooting at nothing. Call of Duty probably has the worst timer you will ever see in any video game. Anytime I play, it's always that one singular moment that just is always off. Like in this clip right here, you can see the second I decide I want to place an ammo box, this fool will show up and smoke me. This is just many of the different ways COD timing works against you, which is why it is important to practice aim resetting, so that way when you run through a door and an enemy so happenly just runs to the door too, you will be more likely to win the gunfight. Now, a way that you can practice aim resetting is by simply just going into bots like so, and you want to focus on your crosshair right there in the middle of the screen. You want to focus on the crosshair. Make sure the map is off. Focus on trying to have it on people before you shoot, or before you aim, I should say. Notice how I don't aim until I know the crosshair is on them. And the reason why you want the map off is because if you have the map on, you're gonna know exactly where the box is. Like right there, you see how I was missing, and then I aimed out and aimed back in to reset. That's how you want to practice. You don't want to know where the box is, because if you know where the box is, then it's gonna make it to where it's not gonna really be a surprise when you see him. You want it to be a surprise. You want it to be unexpected when you see him. In this way, it's gonna train your brain, so when you get an actual game and unexpectedly see somebody in front of you, it's gonna train you to immediately aim, reset. Another thing, if you struggle with aiming, this is going to allow your aim to get better. See that? See right there? He just appeared, showed up, and I aim reset it. Another reason why this is so important is because when you unaim, you move quicker. So this means in that split second that you go to reset, you can mix in some type of movement like sliding or strafing, which is going to make you harder to hit. Now, each mistake in this video is usually a result in rushing too much and getting caught in awkward situations. Which brings me to my final point: you should not always rush. I cannot stress this enough. That's why I say it so much. In order for you to counter enemies' movement, they have to actually make the movement first, which means they have to make the first move. They can't do that if you rushing all the time. You basically making the move and you making the mistake. So if anything, it looks as though they're countering your gameplay instead, and which is why you probably die so much in the first place. You must learn to be patient. The more patient you are, the less mistakes you begin to make. That's one thing I even had to learn myself. I will always watch these YouTubers always rushing around, getting all these kills, high nuke gameplays, all types of stuff, right? And I tried to replicate that gameplay and it did not work out for me. And that's because they knew what they were doing and I didn't. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to play the game yet, so I just made a bunch of mistakes, just rushed around trying to just play any type of way. When you're patient and relaxed, you will become a lot more harder opponent for the enemies. Now, after implementing these tips, you will notice that playing the game will begin to feel a lot easier, and you will find yourself actually enjoying your overall experience in Black Ops 6. If you play ranked, your enemies will find it harder to beat you in simple gunfights, which will result in an increase of your rank. As I applied these tips into my own gameplay, I started to struggle less against them players who dedicated all their time into learning movement. It didn't matter if they had better movement or even better gun skills, because with this knowledge, I took all their skill away, which caused them to begin struggling when they played against me instead of the other way around. If you would like to see more Black Ops 6 tips and tricks like this, subscribe to my channel so that way you can learn the best techniques that I guarantee you never heard anywhere else. Or if you are interested in completely mastering Omni movement, then click this video right here.